As long as nature lasts, he too is there, for this is sure that he and she are one. Even when he sleeps, he keeps her on his breast.
Yeah, we have to go back a little bit now because as long as nature lasts, he too is there. Not he
Mm,
too is there, but he too is there. And then the
okay.
next line I felt, uh,
For this is sure that he and she are one.
yeah, for this is sure, it's certain that he and she are one.
Mm.
Even when he sleeps, he keeps her on his breast. Okay, carry on.
Whoever leaves her, he will not depart to repose without her in the unknowable.
Ah, this is Sri Aurobindo being so positive for us, huh?
Mm.
Very positive. That the divine, and I want to talk to you a little bit about this because these different philosophies, Advaita, Shankar, um, many of them consider that Purusha and Prakriti are separate.
Mm.
Purusha does nothing, but he says supports or reflects Prakriti's work. Sri
Mm.
Aurobindo does not agree with this. Sri
Mm.
Aurobindo says they are one.
Mm.
They are one, just utilizing different aspects of that oneness.
Mm.
This is sure that he and she are one. And I know you've read what Mother said. Without me,
He
is
exists not.
without me, he is unmanifest, yes.
Yeah.
So even when he sleeps, he keeps her on his breast. So the Purushottama is in the transcendent where there's illimitable peace and silence. So he sleeps in that transcendence. Whoever leaves her, who is her? Her mother. He will not depart to repose without her in the unknowable. See, this is so positive from Sri Aurobindo that we are all, so to speak, predestined by taking human birth to reach the supermental. What is it? Doesn't matter if it's 10 births or 1,000 births yet. Because as Sri Aurobindo has told us, usually when we die, it's only 2 years before we take birth again. And I think I told you last time that we've had one lack of births to get here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whoever leaves her, that soul will not depart to repose without her in the unknowable. And carry on now.
There is a truth to know, a work to do. Her play is real, a mystery he fulfills. There is a plan in the mother's deep world whim, a purpose in her vast and random game.
Yeah, I think you rushed the line a little bit. There is a plan in Mother. No, there is a plan in the mother's deep world whim. Get that just a little slower so we can get the feeling of that plan. Now, a world whim is a fancy in a way. A whim is a fancy. So, but it's a deep fancy, a deep world whim. And there is even a purpose in her vast and random game. Well, it seems random to us, but it's not random from the highest viewpoint of the overmind and the supermind. And then he's going to tell us why It's not random.
This ever she meant since the first dawn of life. This constant will she covered with her sport to evoke a person in the impersonal void with the truth light strike earth's massive roots of trance, wake a dumb self in the inconscient depths, and raise a lost power from its python sleep, that the eyes of the timeless might look out from time and the world manifest the unveiled divine.
Ah, such beautiful lines. Really so beautiful. Now, there is a truth to know, a work to do. And until Sri Aurobindo came along, we didn't know what that work was to do. All of the philosophies, the cults, the true knowledgeable Shankaras, Advaitas, even Buddha to some extent, but not Buddhism, didn't really have the answer. It came to Sri Aurobindo only when he was in jail, because that's when Vivekananda, who was already dead, came to him and told him about the supramental. He didn't have the supramental yet. In 1926, when Krishna descended into him, it made the beginning of the supramental possible. So this truth to know, this work to do, is the evolution towards the supermind. The mother's play is real, and a mystery, humanity, he fulfills. And then he will tell us there is a plan in the mother's deep world whim. And so we have to read that line a little slowly so we can get that feeling of the plan in the mother's deep world whim. A purpose in her vast and random game. Full stop. This ever she meant since the first dawn of life. Now, the first dawn of life is when the fish comes, the first avatar. That would be the first dawn of life. And all through that evolutionary process, from the amphibian to the animal man, she is covering with her sport and with a constant will. What is she doing? She wants to evoke a person, and this is where humanity comes in, the evolution of man. Up to this point, transitory, obviously, but at the highest that we can understand yet. Because the mind has come in. And the mind is something that is almost not existent or very marginally existent in the animals. Perhaps in the elephant and the porpoise, it's more developed, of course. And what does the Divine Mother want to do? She wants to evoke a person. Notice he capitalizes the P. A person in the impersonal void. And the void, of course, Sri Aurobindo tells us a lot about the void. And he says in the letters on yoga, I just read one to you, the void is the condition of the self, free, wide, and silent. It seems void to the mind, but in reality, it is simply a state of pure existence and consciousness, Sat and Chit with Shanti. How beautiful. And with the truth light, and this is a line that you didn't quite pronounce because it's such a big one. With the truth light strike Earth's massive roots of trance. So we have an anapest as the first one. With the truth light, da 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 da. With the truth light strike Earth's massive roots of trance. And that is what has come down as the supermind. Striking these massive roots of Earth, who is in a trance because, Earth is the lowest of the creation. It is inconscient, but that contains all the consciousness. But Sri Aurobindo tells us that to change the body would be the most difficult thing for all of us. We can change the mind, the heart can open to bhakti of the divine, but earth, that's matter, which is basically dull and almost unmovable, but it can be molded. We can take a huge amount of clay and we can make porcelain, beautiful cups and cups. So it can be molded, and that's why the truth light has come down into Earth's massive roots of trance. Now we understand a little bit more.
Yeah.
Wake a dumb self in the inconscient depths. And then I have to go slowly through this because I have so many things here. I have to go to the next page, actually, which is page 73. And raise a lost power from its python sleep. Well, the word power, Sri Aurobindo says, is control, or Mother says actually, it's control over things, persons, events, forces. But what is this python sleep? Well, Sri Aurobindo uses it as an adjective. Interesting. He uses it as an adjective. And he says that this python sleep has to be awakened. It has this lost power of knowledge, consciousness, is in such a sleep. You know, the python hardly moves at all until it needs to eat something, and then that food will last for weeks and weeks again. So raising a lost power, that lost power is the power of consciousness from its python sleep, and then that marvelous line, that the eyes of the timeless might look out from time, and the world, I got to get to the line here, and the world manifest the unveiled divine. And I'd like you to read some more. We have a little time yet.
For this he left his white infinity and laid on the spirit the burden of the flesh, that Godhead's seed might flower in mindless space.
So for this, for what? For the evolution. He left his white infinity. Well, the divine is leaving his white infinity by going into formation. And the avatar comes out of the divine. And he has left his white infinity. And what has he done with that? He has laid on the spirit the burden of the flesh. And we probably don't really know what that is. but we can feel the burden of the flesh very often.
Mm.
Okay. Why did he do all of this?
Godhead
Might flower in mindless space. Oh, these lines are so beautiful.
Mm.
It's just such a mantric quality in all of it. Wow. The music just touches me so deeply. And that is the end of Canto 4. So we'll have a little shorter time today because I want to start on the next canto next. So why don't you begin now and
Yeah.
read everything and make me feel every word, every moment, every vibration, every alliteration possible.
As long as nature lasts, he too is there.
Yes,
But
but as long as nature lasts, he too, you have to emphasize a little bit that he also is there. He too is there. Okay, start again.
as long as nature lasts, he too is there. For this is sure that he and she are one. Even when he sleeps, he keeps her on his breast. Whoever leaves her, he will not depart to repose without her in the unknowable. There is a truth to know, a work to do. Her play is real, a mystery he fulfills. There is a plan in the mother's deep world whim, a purpose in her vast and random game. This ever she meant since the first dawn of life. This constant will she covered with her sport, to evoke a person in the impersonal void, with the truth light strike earth's massive roots of trance, wake a dumb self in the inconscient depths, and raise a lost power from its python sleep, that the eyes of the timeless might look out from time, and the world manifest the unveiled divine. For this he left his white infinity, and laid on the spirit the burden of the flesh, that Godhead seed might flower in mindless space.
Pretty good, pretty good. You're improving a little at a time, but it's good. Look at the word seed and flower. You see,
Mm,
it tells us so much when we look at it in that sense, spirit and flesh.
mm.
And you read it, there is a plan, but it should be, there is a plan.
There is a
Short,
plan.
yeah, short, long, huh? I am. There
There
is
is
a
a
plan. Okay,
plan
go
in
ahead,
the
read.
mother's deep world whim.
Good. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you very much.